Initially, I planned to make this video to showcase some of my top 10 PC builds of 2023, but there's not a lot of merit in that. Last year was pretty wholesome for the PC gaming tech industry in general. We saw some incredible new cases, coolers, graphics cards, monitors, and so much more. As we move into 2024, I want to take this as an opportunity to dive back into some of my work through the last 12 months, which will give me an opportunity to explain what made them unique for me personally. This video isn't sponsored by anybody. I'm not trying to sell you anything, that's not how we roll here on the channel. Instead, I want to take this as an opportunity to summarise, in short, some of the key moments and products that impacted me throughout 2023. But first of all, let's grab a coffee. Or two. Or three. We had a lot of coffee this year, but there's no complaints about that. Without further ado, let's rewind to February and start things off with ASUS. ASUS launched the Hyperion chassis almost 1 year ago. Whilst this case may be a little bit on the large side, its features, unique style and hardware compatibility really won its spot here. Excellent cooling along with dual 420mm radiator support, more USB ports than you can likely ever need, and an intuitive build process that feels a little extra than a standard case, putting you in control of almost every aspect throughout the build stages. Whilst the Hyperion isn't particularly difficult to build inside of, the overwhelming size and weight of the chassis could be daunting to those unfamiliar with cases on this scale. The patience is very rewarding however, so I'd totally recommend giving it a try if you've been on the fence. Build skill level 6 out of 10. Shortly after the release of Hyperion, we saw ASUS and Noctua come back with the latest 4000 series collaboration graphics card. The Noctua RTX 4080 is without a doubt one of my favourite graphics cards, not just for its unique design aesthetics, but the performance and quiet cooling are like no other. That shouldn't come as a surprise when you consider that there's two NF-A12X25 fans at its heart. I've been using this graphics card in my personal PC build for almost a year now, and I highly recommend it. When it comes to monitors, ASUS are always on top of their game. We saw one of the first ever 27-inch OLED panels from ASUS ROG hit the market in early 2023, the PG27AQDM. Not only does this display bring incredible HDR and dynamic range, there's 240Hz of gaming goodness at 1440p, which in real world use feels totally immersive and gives games a whole new dimension. 2024 should see an expansion to the range with some new OLED panels, which, in my opinion, will be certainly worth keeping an eye out for. Next, we saw ASUS expand the graphics card range to include ProArt. The results being a truly minimal GPU that still packs up to a 4080 with 0 RGB, all crammed into a very premium design language. I've got nothing but good words to say about this card. In a market absolutely dominated by large hardware, the ProArt range brings 2-slot thickness with a relatively small footprint. Small form factor PC builds rejoice, but there's still hope for 4080 power. Speaking of small footprints, the Prime AP201 chassis has without a doubt proven time and time again over the last 12 months to be one of my favourite micro ATX cases for being able to house some of the largest graphics cards while still providing huge amounts of airflow and cooling support. Cable management could be a small issue for those building their first PC, but it's actually really intuitive if you take your time. AP201 build skill level 5 out of 10. I wasn't going to include the Prime A21 and BTF motherboard combination into this video, however, I feel like I'd wrong myself to exclude them. Whilst the reversed motherboard idea wasn't something new for 2023 in general, ASUS did an extremely great job with the ID design and execution. Not only that, the cableless approach to PC DIY is only just getting started. Something tells me that this year we'll see the range expand further, and that's something I'm very much excited for. I guess we just need to see where things lead. It's big, it's powerful, and it's downright beautiful. The ROG Matrix 4090. Could this be the most epic graphics card of the year award? Cooled by liquid metal with extreme performance figures. That floating skeletal design is like no other, and no visual content can truly give it justice. You need to see it with your eyes, touch it with your skin, and simply see it within a build. It comes at a hefty price, sure, but if you can, you know you would. I know I would. The Matrix 4090. Just look at it. Fractal Design are quite unique in the PC gaming tech world for their bold designs, iconic lines, and more recently the use of earthy tones to induce a zen vibe. The Fractal Design North stands proudly as my favourite case of the year for many reasons. The wood accent grille, combined with a contemporary laid-back style, brings a breath of fresh air in a mostly RGB dominated space. That's not to say you can't use RGB with the North, you can, but where the chassis truly blossoms is with a complementary colour palette, a fine brewed mug of coffee, and Radiohead being played through your headphones. For me personally, North bridges a gap for gamers who want to invite gaming into their home living space without the RGB distractions, or plain boxes typically associated with doing so. Kudos Fractal Design, you got me time and time again. The North is more of a traditional style PC chassis. Its big strength is its basic configuration options. You will have space to vertical mount too. Cable management is plentiful, even with one of the longest 4090 GPUs fitted. Total beginners and seasoned professionals alike will take pride and pleasure assembling a system into this. Build skill level, 2 out of 10. I flew to the other side of the planet and came back with the terror. Worth it? So worth it. Once again, Fractal Design hit us with those earthy tones and brought us an exceptional ITX chassis. The Terra has some very unique features, such as a sliding adjustable backbone, which gives priority to either graphics card size or CPU cooler size, subject to your configuration choices. It also has gullwing style hinge doors which can be removed via quick release, and they open up easy to provide access for cleaning and also maintaining your hardware. Once again, that wood accent, which while small, adds a premium flavour to what's already quite a premium chassis. How the Terra can house a 4080 with such a tiny footprint still blows my mind. Size doesn't always matter, evidently. As with all mini ITX cases, there's going to be a certain level of skill required to cable manage, and the Terra is no different. Utilising a small power supply such as the ROG Loki with its shorter, more flexible cables makes the process much easier and more rewarding. Build skill level, 7 out of 10. Deepcool have truly come out of their shell in recent years, with 2023 being notable for numerous product launches, a strong design language, and most of all, excellent performance at an affordable price for the most part. When it comes to micro ATX, the CH370 happens to be one of the most affordable yet highly compatible cases, resulting in an extremely handsome purchase for beginners and more advanced PC builders alike. Along with solid hardware support, the CH370 comes with a couple more tricks up its sleeve, such as a pop-out headset hanger and an adjustable front mesh design which can both increase airflow whilst also providing a different aesthetic. Cable management is a breeze, with all of the cutouts being in the right place with little to no quirks standing in your way. Good looking and easy build micro ATX cases can be hard to come by, but you'll definitely find it here. Build skill level, 3 out of 10. Morpheus, a recent addition to the Deepcool lineup, but highly anticipated all the same. I first caught sight of this chassis at Computex back in June, and I had to wipe my eyes a few times to understand how the modularity works. 2 single chamber layouts, or a dual chamber. This chassis is capable of housing up to 6 200mm fans, which is quite a statement. Why would you do this, you might ask? Well, 200mm fans are able to move lots of air whilst rotating more slowly. This results in excellent airflow with absolute minimal noise, and that is a winner. Oh yeah, the little rubber nugget things Deepcool include are a great time to play around with too. The build process is extremely straightforward and relaxing. If you intend to build in the standard configuration, the skill level will be around 5 out of 10. If, however, you want to take a modular approach, which requires a total chassis breakdown and reassembly, then consider the build skill level more like a 7 out of 10. Finally, Deepcool continues to push their ever-growing lineup of air coolers to meet an incredibly wide spread of budgets and aesthetics. Whilst the Assassin 4 was the primary showstopper this past year, the options are almost limitless with black, white, digital, non-digital, large or small coolers. In an industry dominated by the need to liquid cool, I tip my hat to Deepcool for still innovating on the trusty tower cooler for those who prefer to keep liquid in the bathtub or in their water bottles. Montech started this year extremely strong with the Sky 2. An affordable ATX chassis complete with reverse blade fans and a very, very catching aesthetic. Where the Sky 2 really shines is with its ability to house some of the largest hardware on the market whilst providing an unrestricted view inside. The build process is extremely relaxing with no confusing parts or panels. RGB is well diffused and vibrant, along with excellent airflow in almost every cooling setup. Completing a Sky 2 build is a very strange experience. Once you kick back and admire your work, you'll be left questioning how it's possible for the case to be so cheap, yet so visually premium. Sky 2 build level, a very generous 3 out of 10. Following on from the Sky 2, Montech came in hard with the Air 903. A standard ATX case layout with some incredible cooling potential at a price point which simply melts my mind. The base model ships with 2 140mm front intake fans and 1 140mm rear exhaust for just £55 or $65 at the time of making this video. Even the Max version can be purchased for only $10 more, which comes with 3 RGB 140mm fans up front. This gives the Air 903 the crown for being one of the highest airflow cases relative to cost. For most, you wouldn't feel the need to buy any additional fans. Simply assemble a motherboard with an air cooler or an all-in-one, transplant it into the case, add your power supply and graphics card, and away you go. Build skill level, 2 out of 10. Montech have rapidly been growing from strength to strength recently. I had the pleasure of spending time with the team during Computex, and their level of commitment to provide affordable yet quality hardware really shows. One of the key chassis announced during the show was King 95, which was later released at the end of 2023. King 95 takes the dual chamber layout we've all grown to enjoy, but with a slight twist, or bend for a better word. That curved glass front panel separates the King 95 from other dual chamber designs by breaking up the hard, fish tank-like design angles typically associated with them for a more smooth, rounded leading edge instead. For those seeking more direct airflow or cooling support, the King 95 ships with a mesh front panel which allows the side fans to simply swing forward. This opens up the space for an additional fan or radiator support. If you're seeking a solid case to showcase hardware, then there's every reason to consider this. A simplistic assembly process with a few quirks and tricks up its sleeve. Build skill level, 6 out of 10. If there's one brand that we can count on to push exceptional cases and hardware, it's NZXT. 2023 saw the launch of several new and exciting products, kicking things off with a H9 Flow and Elite. Jumping on the dual chamber bandwagon, NZXT created two premium options depending on hardware requirements. Those looking to utilise more powerful hardware should choose the Flow variant with its mesh top panel, and those looking to push more aesthetics could choose the Elite with its standard RGB fan array and a glass top panel. Both of these cases really shine with their huge hardware support and brilliant assembly stages. As we've come to expect from NZXT, the build quality is top notch with the H9. Be warned, however, the case is big and it's quite heavy at 13 kilos without hardware. Where there's a H9, there's usually beautiful setups. Build skill level 6 out of 10. Downsizing slightly from the H9, we find ourselves with NZXT's latest addition to their lineup, the H6. Whilst many people made comparisons to the HYTE Y60 with the design language, it's simply not the same. Adding an angle doesn't make it a copy. Besides, the way NZXT implemented the angle isn't for aesthetics, it's for directing airflow, and that's something I can absolutely stand behind. A fundamental flaw with having side intake fans within a dual chamber design is that the airflow is simply forced at the side glass panel, which isn't truly efficient. With the H6, the airflow isn't turbulent or wasted, instead it's directed straight under the graphics card and radiator. Combined with two 140mm fans on the bottom for absolute airflow harmony, the H6 is one of the most interesting and rewarding builds I've worked on throughout this year. It's not easy to find a unique design that simply works without complications and trade-offs. Build skill level 4 out of 10. It wouldn't be a roundup for NZXT without mentioning the refresh to the Kraken range which happened earlier in the year. The NZXT Kraken was one of the first LCD all-in-ones to truly define the PC DIY market for its excellent display quality and ease of personalisation using CAM. The new versions of the Kraken step things up a notch with two main price points. The flagship Kraken Elite now comes with a new LCD display capable of a 60 frames a second refresh rate, which makes GIFs smoother and more fluid, but those with a limited budget can opt for the standard Kraken, which has a smaller 1.5 inch display, and it is also capable of displaying GIFs and real-time PC statistic information. Both all-in-ones are powered by ASUS pumps and can cool the hottest CPUs efficiently. With all of the above said and done, myself, my boy at Gear Seekers, my homie at Scattervault, the big bro at PC Battle Stations, Josh and Nay at Tech Tesseract, and of course Laurie at the Tech Notice, we all came together to embark on a long journey to find the elusive NZXT Manta earlier in the year. Whilst the quest was extremely wholesome and very rewarding, we can't help but wonder, will NZXT make a comeback in 24 with a Manta refresh? A lower PSU shroud to house larger graphics cards? A mesh front? Man, there's still so many questions that remain unanswered. HYTE are not a brand thrusting 50 new cases at us each year, but when they do release them, you can always ride on their enthusiasm and commitment to provide a quality product. Halloween 2023, HYTE launched their latest edition, the Y70 Touch, a very premium chassis with a unique selling point, which is also backed by an eye-watering price. We must keep in mind that HYTE clearly didn't develop this case with the mass market in mind. Instead, this one should be aimed more towards enthusiasts looking to customise, modify and truly personalise their setup. A 14-inch touchscreen separates the Y70 Touch from anybody else. Not only is it an LCD screen, but it also becomes your central hub, allowing users to display widgets, animations, pictures, videos and even play games, utilising HYTE's Nexus software. A total of 10 fans can be installed within the chassis, including GPUs with a thickness of up to 4 slots. And whilst I'm more of a traditional chassis lover, I don't particularly get my kicks from built-in case tech. I can see HYTE's audience, and I do greatly respect them for doing something unique and different. Build skill level 7 out of 10. where Mini ITX meets modern hardware support in one of the smallest lunchbox footprints, SSUPD brought us the Mushroom D, an impossibly tiny perforated chassis with the ability to support large graphics cards and even liquid cooling. Rather than cram loads of hot hardware into such a small space, I utilised the Mushroom D for a modest RTX 4070 build combined with an air-cooled 13600K. This made an ideal PC for a smaller desk setup or LAN events alike. Given the tiny nature of the Mushroom D, cable management is very time consuming if you want to make it perfect. Like many lunchbox PC cases, this takes time and commitment to make right, but when you do, it's very rewarding. Build skill level 8 out of 10. When did PC cases start arriving as a flat pack? Well, Cooler Master certainly made that statement with the Cube 500 in 2023. Taking the title as one of the most involving and pleasurable build experiences of the year, the Cube 500 brings heaps of fun for beginners and seasoned professionals alike. Besides the eco-saving benefits of a smaller shipping footprint, this case's modular approach is like nothing I've experienced before. Rather than unboxing a case and building into it, the Cube 500 prides itself on making the PC DIY experience so wholesome that you assemble the chassis at the same time as the hardware to build as you unbox. There's so many different layouts you can choose before you start, giving you the freedom and flexibility to truly make it your own. What's more, this tiny case can even house eATX motherboards if you can believe that. Most of Cooler Master product lines tend to be more gamer focused, pushing hard on RGB, but the Cube 500 hits different. If this new design language and modularity is something that Cooler Master wants to produce and embrace more in 2024, then I'll bet my coffee machine that they'll excel. Build skill level 5 out of 10. Well, 2023 was pretty incredible. I flew to the other side of the planet in May to visit Computex and meet so many faces, explore new possibilities, grow friendships and build lifelong relationships. Heck, I even had the chance to meet some of you guys there too. We managed to reach 100,000 subscribers and we celebrated by raising almost £4,000 for Gamers Beat Cancer. And we gave away some incredible things to celebrate such a milestone for the channel. And now 2024 is here. We have new challenges ahead of us. There's of course the new studio expansion, which I'm still working hard to complete behind the scenes. There's new doors to open and fresh ideas to embrace. Oh yeah, there's also a Mr. Matt Lee V2 YouTube channel, which will be the home of my shorts and alternative projects moving forwards. I'll leave a link to that in the description, but I know you're gonna love it. So that's 2023. Thanks so much for the support, thanks for being part of this joint adventure, and here's to another year of coffee and wonderful PC building experiences. We got this.